Welcome in episode number 87 of the St0ner Sports Radio podcast. We join you as we head into week 13 of the college football season. We'll recap week 12 for you. We'll go through a bunch of other cool stuff surrounding college football. Then we'll hit up Zach for his Thunder update. Then we'll go to Big Deal, No Big Deal with the NFL. Visit the St0ner Sports Book, where we got some winners this week. We'll tell you what's going on. Stay tuned. Joining me from the Huffman Cave in studio, once again, friend and co-host Zach Huffman. Zach, how are we doing on this Be Happy Friday?
Hey, doing okay. We're hanging in there. OU's not looking bowl eligible anymore, so it's not even worth, paying attention to anymore. But I know you're probably feeling pretty good about Oregon, going into this playoff season here.
Yeah, look, I was sweating it out there in Madison as the Badgers got feisty, and we needed a pick in the end to seal that one. So, again, just proving that there is not really a dominant, for sure, team in college football this season. We had our candidates preseason, and I'm going to say we're all the way down to 0, Zach. Agree, disagree?
Yeah, I think I agree. I think definitely... I don't know. I think everyone thought Oregon, would be up there, and I think Oregon's still up there. Obviously, the favorite to win the national championship right now, number one in the country. I don't see any reason why not. I think we're in there, but I think a lot of the preseason favorites, outside of maybe Texas, are definitely, kind of outside of the realm of possibility right now. You're looking at Georgia, even Alabama, Tennessee. A lot of these teams might be on the outside looking in, come playoff time.
Yeah, and what I was really trying to get to was there's no team out there that's just beating the brakes off of everybody they've played every week. We've seen some of those teams in the past. We've been alive to witness some of those great teams. I don't see one out here anymore. I think last week kind of solidified that with the 3-point squeaker out in Madison for the Ducks. I guess let's start with that. 16-13, Oregon gets the job done. I know a win's a win, as they'll tell you. No touchdowns for Dillon Gabriel, just a pick and 218 yards completed, 22 out of his 31 passes. But really the story from the Oregon offense was Jordan James. 25 carries, 121 yards and a touchdown for the running back for the Ducks. He was the offense for most of the game, at least as far as effectiveness goes. He was up there. Evan Stewart, fastest guy on the team, 10 catches, 92 yards. No Tez Johnson for us against the Badgers, and that ended up kind of hurting a little bit more than I thought it would. I thought Trayshawn Holden would step up. I thought, Ferguson would step up, and Ferguson had a decent game, but he did end up having to leave due to injury, so that really hurt the Ducks kind of late. He came back, I think, but he was out for a significant time. I want to say he was out for a few series, and that kind of may have stalled the offense at times because he's one of Dillon Gabriel's favorite targets. They're best friends, yada, probably room together, something like that. They're very close. So good relationship there, and that sucked to not have him out there as a target for Dillon Gabriel in times that they needed it. What was your takeaway from this game up there in Wisconsin?
I think it was a resiliency game, as a lot of coaches would put it. I think you can see how Oregon kind of had to come back in that fourth quarter and make something happen, and I think they obviously did. Dillon Gabriel was able to orchestrate a drive down the field, and it ended up winning the game. So I think it showed the resiliency of Oregon, playing in a tough environment, in Wisconsin, and you gotta be a little nervous that they're having that close of a game. Only winning by 3, 16-13. That's not something you want to see from the number one team in the country against an unranked opponent.
No, that was definitely concerning to watch. But I think it's good to say. Hopefully, we got the bad week out of the way and escaped with the win. A lot of teams have had bad weeks and not been able to escape with a win, and I think that kind of says more about us if we're able to carry that momentum into these next couple games. So we'll see what happens with Oregon. One game left, I believe, for them. They're off this week.
Imp 11-0.
So we're just waiting this week, and we won't have a game. We'll have Washington next week. So we'll have the Huskies, and then it'll be Big Ten championship time, most likely for us. Whether we win or lose that Washington game, I'm sure we're probably locked in.
Oh, you already are locked in.
Yeah. I saw the tweet, so we're locked in. So it doesn't really matter if we beat them, but we'll probably smoke them. We should. They're not very good. So we're looking forward to that. Ohio State beat Northwestern, Zach, 31-7. Did we learn anything from any team that's played Northwestern this season?
What was that? Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. That was exactly my thought. Ohio State beats Northwestern by 24. Is there anything to even take away from this?
No. I mean, they should have scored more.
Yeah, I think that was my takeaway too. I think the fact that you were shut out in the first quarter and fourth quarter says more about you than the scoring in the second and third quarters. But yeah, so big win there for the Buckeyes. They move on. They have Indiana this week. Huge game at 11 a.m. You know I love to start my day off with some Hoosiers, baby. And I have an interesting take on Big Ten Championship game coming up. I'll spin that by you when we get there. Now comes to Zach's first pick for the sports book, and boy, was it a doozy. I told him it was going to be scary. He didn't listen to me. Texas beats Arkansas by 10, 20-10, and this game was actually a lot closer than this, Zach, and Arkansas had its moments, and even late they had forced a fumble on a very crucial Texas drive that they ended up scoring on, and the fumble just trickled out of bounds out of the reach of the Arkansas defender when Arkansas had all the momentum at that point after cutting it to 3. What was your takeaway from this game?
I think that they just rigged it. There's no way that they couldn't just get 1 more or 3 more points there to cover that spread. That's insane. It's Arkansas. They have been bad. They've been bad this season, and I was really surprised that Texas struggled at all in this game.
Yeah, it was interesting to see. Quinn Ewers less than 200 yards throwing the football, less than 100 yards rushing.
It was an ugly win.
I mean, but I think I put that up kind of up par with the Oregon win. It's a game that you probably should have lost and had chances to lose, and you didn't. And I think that says something about your team. But the difference between us and Texas is we've actually beat a decent team. They have not beat a decent team all season. So
I'll get into that.
Yeah.
I have many thoughts on that. I have plenty of thoughts on that.
But yeah, so that's a big storyline heading into these last couple weeks. But regardless, Texas gets the win. They move on to 9-1 on the year, and it's a tough place to play out there when those piggies are fired up. And the crowd was more alive than I thought they were going to be. And you have to kind of hand it to the pigs for keeping it close. Something that I thought could happen was a piggy win, but couldn't get the job done, and no surprise there, but more of a fight than Zach was anticipating there for sure. And speaking of a pick, Zach was Zach was gonna go with this pick, and they probably should have, because boy did they cover. Penn State beats Purdue 49-10. The spread was 28.5. We thought maybe this offense for Penn State would be a little bit pedestrian like they have been the last couple weeks. Purdue's really bad, and everybody had a field day. Nothing to really take away from this, right?
Nothing. I should have picked it though. Should have lost that in.
Yeah, that was a rough one, but you know what? I didn't see it coming. I don't think a lot of people saw that one coming either. I think people thought that Purdue at home put up a little bit more of a fight, which leads us into my pick. Which I was rolling with. I went back-to-back Jayhawks, baby. 2.5's the magic number. I told you, you didn't listen. They get the job done. Look, man, muff punts will kill you. And BYU had a muff punt that absolutely ruined their perfect season. Kansas takes advantage, punches it in, and the defense does the rest. Kansas gets the win on the road in Provo, 17-13. And I'm telling you, Zach, they're looking like the team that I thought they were going to be, and you thought they were going to be heading into the season. They've got Colorado this weekend. What are we thinking here?
Colorado should smoke them. I mean, what else can we draw from this other than the fact that BYU lost significantly. I mean, it's against Kansas, but Kansas is shit. I mean, Kansas is shit this season. There's nothing good about them. So BYU losing their perfect season there, that was terrible. I thought that BYU played a terrible, terrible game. I mean, Jesus, 15 carries for 76 yards. You're barely averaging over 3 yards a carry. It's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it, especially against Big 12 opponents who usually have high-powered offenses, but in Kansas's case, they don't. But they did enough. I mean, it's sad that you let a team score 17 points and you didn't win.
Yeah,
You kept them under 20.
yeah. I mean, that's usually a recipe for a W, especially when you've put up the kind of points BYU has most of the season. Just couldn't get it done. Retzloff looked mid. Everybody looked mid, and you just can't make mistakes against mediocre teams. But I really think that this Kansas team is starting to kind of take shape. Obviously too little, too late here for them. But I think that again, going into this week, I don't want Colorado to take them lightly. They do need to stop them. They should, like you said, have more offensive firepower than BYU, in my opinion, and that should give this Kansas defense some fits. But we've seen this Colorado team underperform against bad teams as well. This is going to be closer of a game than I think people are going to expect it to be tomorrow. But I don't think that the result's going to be a Kansas win. I can't roll with them 3 weeks in a row. Spread on this though is again Kansas plus 2.5. So I'm tempted. I'm tempted. Can they do it again?
Why can't you? That's what I want to know. Why can't you? Because everyone has to lose to Kansas once.
That's true.
And why not ruin Colorado's playoff push?
Yeah, I would like to see it. I'm rooting for him, that's for sure. Is it going to be one of my 6 games I'm picking? You bet I'm putting it on there. But I'm not going to put my eggs all in one basket this week. I don't think I can do that with them. I just it's tough. It's a tough game for both those teams, and I would really like to see Arizona State win the Big 12 at this point. I'm ready to feel it. I'm feeling Sun Deviled up, baby. I'm feeling Sun Deviled up. Forks up, baby.
It's not happening.
It's not happening.
It's going to be Colorado. It's going to be Colorado.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what Kansas has to say about that. But I think they're probably going to lose. Moving on, supposedly the game of the week here. Georgia beats Tennessee 31-17. Both me and Zach were very high on Georgia getting right this game, and it was a little bit of a slow burn in the second half. It was tied at halftime. No points for Tennessee in the second half. That's kind of the storyline here, right, Zach?
Yeah, and that's usually the storyline when it comes to Georgia, right? They usually have bad first halves, and in cases like this, sometimes against even worse teams than Tennessee. And Tennessee's a good team, don't get me wrong, but Georgia has struggled against bad teams in the past in the first half, and then halftime comes around. Kirby Smart gets in the locker room, they come out and they shut them out in the second half. Things change at halftime for Georgia. I've said it many times, and I think that has a lot to do with how Kirby Smart's approaching the locker room. He said something in the locker room and he shut out Tennessee in the second half, like I've seen him do multiple times.
Yeah, it was just good stuff. Just good stuff. I was kind of expecting it to be a little bit more lopsided, but look, 14 points against, like you said, not a bad Tennessee team. This wasn't supposed to be like, oh, you're supposed to lose by 50, But I mean, like it was, one of those where I was like, Georgia's trying to get back into the conversation, and this is a game they need. Now, I will say one thing about the commentary for this game. I mean, Kirk Herbstreit was just glazing, just deep-throating Georgia the whole entire broadcast. Just holy crap, Kirk. Not a good look.
Yeah, not a good look. It's a homer look. It's weird. I hate that. That's the way ESPN, and all these major networks treat Georgia, like some sort of royalty because they've won, a couple natties here and there. But it's part of the agenda. I get it. It's what they're supposed to do. It's kind of like, Chris Collinsworth with Pat Mahomes.
True. Moving on, Notre Dame just blows the absolute doors off of Virginia 35-14. The big story here was Virginia just couldn't stop turning the ball over. I mean, my man couldn't stop turning the ball over because, believe it or not, there were some chances here for Virginia to score the football a little bit more, and they just kind of just went ahead and pee-peed down their legs there. I don't think you can really take anything from this other than Notre Dame continues to beat teams they should, except for Northern Illinois.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think Riley Leonard had a pretty good game. Completed 66% of his passes. He 214 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's a really good complete game. No interceptions. And that love was great at the running back position. It just great performance in Notre Dame. I think that they're going to be a threat in the playoff, and wouldn't be surprised if we see them make a deep little run.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens when they play stiffer competition. I unfortunately don't think it's going to be this weekend, but big game against Army. But I do have Notre Dame getting the job done against both undefeated service academies. Moving on to a game that nobody watched and nobody cared about. Alabama beat Mercer 52-7. Whoop-de-doo. Moving on. Boise State. Yep. They were in a tough one in the first half against San Jose State. I was feverishly sending you that it's over for Boise State. It's done. It's cooked. Like, see you later. Yeah. And then the second half happened, and Ashton Jeanty, man, okay game. 159 doesn't really make the needle go huge for me against a team that you probably should have ran for 200 against. But those 3 touchdowns are huge. All came within the 10-yard line except for like one of them. It just finishing off drives and putting a team away that they should have put away. But definitely, is this even a cause for concern, or was this just like slow burn? Kind of wasn't taking them seriously, and then San Jose State turned back into a pumpkin.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. I mean, slow burn. It just takes a minute. It's just a bad first quarter. After that, they're outscoring them. They're outpacing them by double, literally. If you look at the score sheet, it's just like 0 points in the first quarter, then 2 touchdowns a quarter from there. Just outpacing San Jose State out from the first quarter. So I think, just a slow first quarter, and that's it. Not even a slow first half. I don't think it's any concern for Boise State. I think they're still, in my opinion, a lock for that G5 spot.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they lose a game, it's over. But I mean, I don't think they will. I don't think anybody they got left is really gonna challenge them. They have Wyoming this week. I don't think that's gonna be close. Wyoming is not.
They have the best loss in the country.
Yeah, they do. It's us.
In my opinion. And I think that's they have the best loss in the country, and it's not by much. And I think that's an important factor when it comes to the playoff discussions. So I'm big on Boise State coming in here. I think Ashton Jeanty is going to solidify his Heisman campaign. I'm all in.
Yep, and then they're going to hand that trophy to Travis Hunter. So sad.
Yeah, they are, and it's a robbery. It's a fucking robbery.
It would be considered that. Moving on to a game that was a lot closer than it should have been. SMU, who jumped on top of Boston College early, had to hold on for dear life. They end up winning though by 10, 38-28. Had their chances here at Boston College, but SMU, are we still riding the Mustang paddy wagon here?
I don't know if I'm riding them all the way to the playoffs, but I think that they have a chance at. I mean, they're 6-0 in the ACC. I don't see any reason why they can't make it into the ACC championship game and possibly even solidify a spot in that top 4, which their playoff projections have them sliding into that number 3 spot. So I'm not thinking that they're going to be able to win out. Honestly, I don't really know who is on their schedule from here on out, though. But I know that they probably have to play someone tougher than who they've played yet, right? Let's see. Let's take a look.
They've got Virginia and Cal left.
So there you go. I mean, they're definitely making the ACC championship game, right?
Cal's gonna get them. Damn it, those damn Golden Bears! I'm telling you, man,
they're not.
They're so good. They're so good. They shouldn't have a problem. Look, Virginia kind of makes me raise an eyebrow because Virginia does have that win against Louisville, and I mean, again, I don't know how good Louisville is. I don't know what that says about Louisville, but I think that just because you have that win against, at the time, a top 25 team, I know you got smoked by Notre Dame, but again, that's not a number 22 ranked team. That's a number 8 team. So I mean, I think that's kind of expected. But can they beat somebody with the talent that SMU has across the board? I would be kind of remiss to say that I don't think that SMU and Louisville are particularly far apart when it comes to talent. I think this is more about SMU's coaching than anything right now because they're not really playing with top-notch players. We know that. We know that they have good players, but when you're playing games without Preston Stone and you have Jennings in there at quarterback, that says coaching is absolutely exceptional, right?
Yes, and they just extended him, and I think that this is going to be really good for recruiting as well. They extend a long-term contract, and he's if he can make if he can make a playoff run, and be locked into one of those top four spots and get a first-round bye in the playoff. I mean, that's beautiful for recruitment. And I don't see any reason why SMU couldn't use that and start building from there and become one of the major powerhouses in the ACC if they choose to do so. I think they've made the best decision in extending that coach, and yeah, I'm all for SMU. I just don't see them winning that ACC game.
Yeah, I mean Clemson will be a tough one. It's not gonna be easy. That or no, sorry, I'm Miami. Miami. I mean
Yeah, I think
that's yeah. It's Did Mario Cristobal Ball drop that game? Oh, he could drop it. I mean, the thing is I wouldn't give Miami just like a oh yeah, first like that spread's probably gonna be single digits. It might be 9, but it's gonna be single digits. I don't think that game is gonna be a double digit spread for Miami. I just don't see it if SMU wins out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Big if though.
Miami has to smash them.
Yeah, big if. Texas A&M played New Mexico State and it was a shellacking 38-3. Nothing to really take from this. Go Aggies of Texas A&M. It was the Aggie Bowl and the better team won. There you go.
Yeah,
moving on to Big 12 championship favorite and front runner in the Big 12, Arizona State. They beat Kansas State 24-14. Sam Leavitt is the best quarterback in the country, and they have one of the best coaches in the country, which probably is a fact, to be honest. But all jokes aside, they survived a absolute great game by DJ Giddens. I mean, my man for Kansas State was running all over, 14 carries, 133 yards, no touchdowns, which was the big spaghetti-o moment for the Wildcats because they lose this. But in all seriousness, Zach, is Arizona State really going to give a team like BYU, a shot this week? Because they've got them tomorrow. They got BYU, and a lot of people are picking the Sun Devils here, and they've got Arizona after that. I'm going to be honest, Zach. I think Arizona has a higher chance of beating them than BYU this week. Am I crazy?
I think you're correct. I think Arizona State's probably a lot for the Big 12 championship when it comes down to it. They're going to be in there, and they're probably going to be in there against Colorado, fighting for that automatic playoff bid. But listen, I think Arizona State, they beat a good Kansas State team. Jordan Tyson had, 12 receptions, 176 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, Jesus. Ooh, talk about it. Yeah, talk about it. That's a big game. So they have the weapons, they have the coaching, they have the quarterback. I don't see any reason why this team couldn't, beat Colorado in that Big 12 championship game. Personally, I would take Colorado. I think they're kind of made for those bigger moments there. So it's gonna be interesting. I think this team might have a shot at making the playoff either way, depending on how they show up against Colorado, though.
Yeah, we'll kind of see how that all pans out. Obviously, big game for them this week against the Cougars, and the Cougars looking to try to bounce back after suffering their first loss at the hands of the Kansas Jayhawks. Moving on to who you're talking about, Colorado. They whooped up on the Utah Utes 49-24. Utah's just, it's just not the team we thought they were going to be. And it's just, the quarterback rotations and, back to Isaac Wilson. He stinks it up. I mean, it's a disaster for Utah, and Colorado just took an advantage of it.
Yep, exactly. I think Shedeur Sanders had a great game. 30 of 41, 340 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, he's starting to kind of solidify himself for an NFL draft, where he's probably going to be a top 2 or 3 pick.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that goes for him. He's looking really good right now, and like you said, this Colorado team is kind of in a full sprint right now. They're spreading their wings here and starting to kind of become a team that we thought maybe they could be last year. after the way their season
Yes.
started, and then it just tanked, and then I picked the wrong year to back them. I guess I don't know. It just happened that way
Well,
sometimes.
here's the thing. I think Deion Sanders is really starting to build something here. If you pay attention to recruitment at all, you'll see that they got signed. I think what was it, the number 2 quarterback in the
Yep.
2025 class,
Yep.
5-star plus. That's a serious tool for recruitment. Talking about getting offensive linemen, talking about getting weapons at the receiver position. This program's going to be just fine after Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter are going to go off to the NFL draft. So, I mean, watch out for Colorado, new Big 12, Big 12 king.
Yeah, it could definitely be a reality. I was thinking about this earlier in the week, was that initially, when last season started, the narrative was, look, you can bring in a bunch of transfers and win games. And then by the end of the season, it was like, well, maybe we were wrong because this team is effing awful, and there's no chemistry here, there's nothing. Come back this next year, and you've got a lot of those same guys still on the team. You've added a year of Deion Sanders recruiting for real. And the turnaround has been literally, the record could possibly be better than last year reversed. Like they went 4-8 last year. They're looking at 10-2 as a real possibility here. Plus possibly a Big 12 championship to go along with that, and a playoff appearance. And like I said, this is only after 1 year recruiting, and like you said, they're already getting recruits for next season, which again makes me think that Deion's staying for another year at Colorado and not going to the NFL to coach his kid, at least immediately. It doesn't seem like that's going to happen. Um, I think that it comes down to the fact that if you are a good coach, you can turn a bunch of transfer portal guys into a decent team if you have to literally build from the ground up.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. I buy stock in Colorado because he's doing exactly that. He got the transfer guys in originally, and I think it's helped helped with his recruitment effort. And he's starting to really attract guys. I don't think he's gonna ever go to the NFL. He's been pretty vocal about not wanting to go to the NFL, but he does, I think, want to coach Shedeur if he could. But I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think an NFL team's gonna fire their coach just so Deion can coach his son.
Come on,
So
Jerry. Come on, Jerry. Come on.
no, God, no, fuck you.
Uh,
Um, so yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of what Deion's doing at the college level. I really think that he can build a special program at Colorado. I mean, they're starting to really return some heads when it comes to recruiting.
yeah, that's looking good for them. Future looks bright. Big game for them this week. They have who they got this week? They've got Kansas. So good luck. Good luck to the Colorado Buffaloes. If you wanted offense, boy, this game gave it to you. A lot of offense. I know Zach was loving the offense in this game. New Mexico beats Washington
Oh
State,
yeah.
though, 38-35. Devin Dampier, my man for those Lobos, 28 carries, 193 yards, 3 touchdowns for the quarterback, folks. He's a quarterback, and I guarantee you that man's going in the portal and making himself some money. He's really good. Mateer is also really good. He's going to go into the portal. He's going to get some money. We know what this game is all about for Zach. It's all about the OC, Mr. Arbuckle, Washington State, who I've got breaking news for Zach, and he's not going to like this. Um, I'm going to let you know right now, brother. It's not looking good for Arbuckle to Norman right now. As So if I sent you this, and I know you saw this, 3-star quarterback recruit Sperry, who a lot of people locally wanted because he's a Heritage Hall guy, moved back down with his mom down to Texas to play at Jackson Arnold's team, Denton Geyer down there. Starting quarterback there looks really good. People were thinking this guy's going to Norman. He's following Arbuckle on Twitter. It's the only person he's following. So chances are, if he's coming to OU, Arbuckle's coming to OU. Well, newsflash, brother. He goes ahead and decommits from OU, commits to Florida State, which now people are saying means that Arbuckle is going to be Florida State's OC, which originally the job looked like it was going to go to Tulane's OC. But now they're saying that Tulane's OC could be headed to Norman instead due to this transfer of this 3-star quarterback. So, stuff coming down the pipe there. What are your thoughts on that development this afternoon?
I don't think it means that Arbuckle's not coming to Norman anymore. That Sperry is no longer has flipped to Florida State. I think it means that what's his name, Mateer. I think that it means that Mateer's coming to Norman. That's my opinion on it. I think Arbuckle is locked in at Norman. I really think he is. And I'm really appreciating the offense that I'm seeing at Washington State right now because, despite not having much of a defense, he can't control that. He can't control that. Brent Venables can control that, though. And I think that he can put up points. He's proven that. The reason that they're ranked is because of their offensive, they're an offensive superpower, I think. I want Arbuckle, and I think that they're going to make it happen. Because let's be honest, no one wants to go work for Norvell right now. I mean, listen, I know OU's not having a great season, but at least Brent Venables has decent recruitment. If at the least, we're talking about a 3-star here. We're talking about 3-star.
I mean, a lot of people think that his stars are a little low. Because of the fact he transferred to so many schools and three schools in 3 years for the kid. I think that's why a lot of people were putting him a lot lower. At least that's what I'm hearing from recruiting people. Is that's why he's probably a 4-star, to be honest, as far as talent goes. But people were saying that they would not be upset if Tulane's OC comes because that means Mensah could be coming to Norman, and a lot of people like him.
I would rather have Arbuckle.
Oh, I'm not saying you wouldn't rather have him. I'm just saying it's not looking good.
I don't know. I don't.
Higher powers than me are saying this. I'm not saying.
That's not the answer. That's not the answer. I'm sorry. I don't want Mensah. We're just going to start Jackson Arnold if that's the case, and I don't think that's the answer either. But we'll dig into that.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing in the media circuses and the insider reporting was that it seems like because of the transfer of Sperry and the fact that him and Arbuckle seem to be pretty close, that maybe he got word that Arbuckle is taking that job down to work for Norvell, which would make sense to me. I mean, Florida State is Florida State. It's great. It's a great place to live. You got great weather most of the year. I mean, I don't know. I don't look. I don't have a horse in this race. I think that Tulane's OC is just as good as an improvement of what you have. I don't have a problem with the numbers Tulane's putting up, and I think the bigger thing is a lot of people are really excited about Mensah more than you are. As far as what I'm hearing is people think that he's a lot better than Mateer. So I mean, I think he's definitely more mobile, but I don't think he's a better passer. And I think that if he can come along with the ride, so be it. A lot of people think he's better than Arnold and Hawkins combined. These aren't my words, by the way. So I don't know how much of a doomer it would be if you don't get Arbuckle, but right now, according to people who know things, it's not looking like it's trending well currently.
Well, I simply am not impressed by Mensah as much as other people, I guess.
Yeah, I think he's okay. I don't think he's anything special. Would he be the best quarterback on the roster? Maybe.
Yeah.
I think
that's not impressive enough for me though. I need someone good.
Yeah, no, I agree with your sentiment as far as being a sooner born and bred till I'm dead. I understand that completely. Let's retouch a little bit on Louisville. They just continue to spiral downhill. Stanford beats them by 3, 38-35. I was saying, that's a good win for Virginia. Is it a good win? I don't know anymore. Is this team just awful?
Yeah, seems like it. I mean, you had the lead going into the fourth quarter. You blew it. You lost 17 points in the fourth quarter to Stanford. It's just a collapse. I mean, yeah, this team has been fraudulent all season, I think.
Okay, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. The Clemson Pitt game was also a good game. It was not eventful in like the scoring aspect, but it was close all the way through. And Pittsburgh had more than enough chances to win this thing. They just aren't very good. Uh, Clemson gets it done 24-20. Anything to really take away from this?
No, not really. I mean, Clemson should have been better than this, but maybe Pittsburgh is kind of really trending up here. I mean, you're 7-3 right now. You've lost, you're 3-3 in the ACC, so not great in that front. But the team that's 7-3 going into week 13. I'm not, or so week 13. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm decent with Pitt, but Clemson should have won this game by 3 possessions.
Yeah, that's the only takeaway. I think that it should have won by more, but a good win. And like you said, Pittsburgh was at one point a top 10 team. I think I just want to point that out. They were ranked in the top 10 at one point this year because they were undefeated, and they've lost 3 straight. So I mean, it's been rough going for the Panthers, who were primed to possibly sneak in the playoff as ACC champion runner-up. Probably is what they would have had them as, and now that's gone. So I mean, it's rough. It's rough, but.
Yeah. But they had a lot of momentum going into that fourth quarter, and they could have, if they had another possession, I think they would have beat Clemson.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Sure, and that could have maybe even now.
Well, they needed that Cade Klubnik 50-yard run with like under 2 minutes to go to win it. I mean, they were down 17-20, and Pittsburgh had a chance to punch it in the end zone and had 4 false start penalties in a row. Like,
talk about a Heisman moment, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think that might be a real long shot, anyways. But yeah, I mean, hey, if you're looking for one, there it is. No doubt. No, that's true. That's true. Now on to Zach's second pick. It went really well for Zach's second pick. He had South Carolina covering the 13.5. They didn't just do that; they win straight up against the Missouri Tigers at home, 34-30. And this game was fantastic. I loved this game. I loved the Luther Burden touchdown with under a minute 30 to go, just to literally have South Carolina march down the field and score with like 15 seconds to go on a Rocket Sanders shovel pass up the middle. It literally caused an earthquake. The crowd was jumping up and down. It was so ruckus. It registered on the campus's Richter scale they had in another building on campus. So what was your takeaway from this other than just a fantastic watch?
My takeaway from this is I think we're going to see Lenora Sellers on Sundays. I mean, the dude has been impressive. You talk about 21 of 30, 353 yards, 5 touchdowns. I mean, to beat a number 23 Missouri team that, frankly is better constructed than South Carolina. But South Carolina is starting to prove themselves to be one of those teams where, if they can get it going offensively more consistently, their defense is set. They have one of the best defensive fronts in the entirety of college football, and I think we saw that on display, especially against Oklahoma, right? When they go for 9 sacks. I mean, this team was insane, especially against OU, they scored 3. Basically, the defense scores 21 points in the first 30 minutes of the football game against OU. I mean, it's insane. This defense is one of the best in the country. So I think as soon as Shane Beamer gets it from a little bit more focused on the offensive side, this team's really dangerous.
Yeah, no, they're nobody that anybody wants to play right now. I'll tell you that much. They are not looking like someone you want to mess with, and that could be bad news for Clemson at the end of the year. I mean, they got Wofford this week, so I mean, look, the Terriers aren't any good. This is going to be one of those games where this should be over by halftime. I'm serious; it really should be. But they've got Clemson next week after this week, and that looks to be an interesting game. It's going to be one of those games, Zach, I think that's going to be must-watch TV here Thanksgiving week. So keep locked in on that. Speaking of being locked in, guess who wasn't locked in? It's the LSU Tigers, baby. They lose on the road to Florida. Billy Napier, baby, continuing to be proven right for his return for next season, getting a big job confidence win there. And LSU, the sky's just falling, right, Zach? I mean, people are saying that this LSU team is their stock's dropping so rapidly that OU might be favored in Baton Rouge in a couple of weeks if things keep spiraling out of control here. Is Ryan Kelly coaching for his job if he loses to Vandy this week and then loses to OU? Is it over from Ryan Kelly?
I mean, sure, I
He's
hope
got a
so. I
$60
mean,
million buyout. Just throwing that out there.
how about Oklahoma getting their coach fired and becoming bowl eligible, huh? How about that? Nice little ending to the season after we get stomped by Alabama. This football team though has been trending up, and they're starting to look a lot better. And I think that maybe that Cincinnati Billy Napier was not as bad as some people thought.
Yeah, no, that was my takeaway. I think that look, they were playing without their starting quarterback last week, and they got him back. I believe, right? Wasn't he back for this game or something? Something happened here. Because obviously he didn't throw for more yards than Nussmeier. Let me take a look here. Lagaway, I think, was back, right? Yeah, Lagaway was back, and that was who they were missing last week. So he was back, and that really changed the offense. I think that he's a really good young freshman quarterback, and I don't think he's going to go into the portal because I think Billy Napier's like, this is our guy, and he's not bad. He really isn't.
Yeah, I would like to see him in a little Sooner uniform, maybe. Just I mean, fuck, we could use anyone.
Yeah, it's you could use UCO's quarterback at this point. Um, it's
Yeah.
it would be it might not be an improvement considering the circumstances, which that's been discussion all season. But definitely heading into next season, you're probably gonna have to either ride the Jackson Arnold train or hope that whoever OC they bring in brings somebody with them to try to bolster that maybe. But we'll see what happens as the season winds down here. Last game, and this is another OC candidate here. Tulane blows out Navy 35-0. They're 9-2 on the year, 7-0 in the American. Mensa 10 of 14, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, but most of the damage was done with the legs. Navy just they're not as good as we thought, right?
Yeah, they're not as good as we thought. They're done. Dunzo.
Looked.
Dunzo Tulane. So, still making a little case to sneak in there, too, into that playoff spot. Possibly, just possibly.
I mean, it's on the table, right? I mean, they only have Memphis as their next game. They're off this week. And then they do have a chance, I would think, of possibly getting into the American Conference Championship game. And it would be against Army right now as it stands. And obviously Army going out of conference to play Notre Dame this week. So Army's last conference game, and I don't know if it really matters at this point, but it's Navy, or sorry, UTSA. Then they have Navy. So they've got 2 games left. Even if they lose both of those games, the only thing that would keep them out is if they lost to Navy. It would be Navy instead of Army. But Tulane looks poised to be there. Memphis is also in the discussion, but if Tulane beats them in 2 weeks, they're done. So there's 4 teams there at the top of the American. You could switch them around any way you want, but the next 2 weeks will kind of filter that out. And they could give Boise State a run if Boise State were to do something stupid or lose or something. I mean, they could definitely be in the discussion to take one of those bottom spots. No sound coming from Zach here. We'll see if we can get him back. It's not even registering talking, but good news is we're on to my favorite topic. Just nothing. A whole lot of nothing. Anything, it's not lighting up. It's nothing. Maybe hang up and reach. We'll see if that. Look, we're talking OU Bama right now. I'm gonna. Oh, there it is. What were you saying though about the 14?
There we go.
Yes.
Well, I don't know what happened there. What was I saying?
I was just saying you could switch any of those 4 teams around, and they could possibly give Boise State a run for that last spot if they were to lose the last in any 2 games that they have of the remaining of the season, including their conference championship game. So, but OU Alabama tomorrow, Zach. Your Sooners taking on one of the best offenses in the country, but you've got one of the best defenses statistically in the country. So best against best here. They say defense wins championships, Zach. Can you force enough turnovers, though, on Alabama's side of the 50 to help your offense out? That will probably be the question. I'm I'm looking at this game, and the reason that all the money right now is going towards the Sooners here is because I think people think Alabama's in a mentally trapped game kind of spot here. You just got done beating Mercer. You know the OU's coming off of what many would say would be a snatching victory from the jaws of defeat against a Missouri team that you should have won against. And I think that if Alabama takes you guys too lightly, especially with an extra week to prepare, this 14-point spread, if you can keep it within that range, even if you do lose, is that a W for you guys? I mean, I know moral victories aren't a Sooner thing, but in my estimation, even if you lose this game, but it's less than 14 points, I mean, it's not embarrassing. It's not, we got to fire Brent Venables bad. Could it get ugly? Absolutely. I think the possibility is there. I just don't think OU's defense is going to allow Jalen Milroe to do what he does, which is run with his legs. They're going to force him to throw. It might not be much better, but it's going to give you a better chance of him making mistakes than it would be if you can keep him from running the football. I'm going to be honest, Zach. I really like this spot for OU. It wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for me to say that this could be the one good game they have this year. I think a lot of people are putting a lot of stock into the LSU game, saying, well, that's your better chance of winning. I don't think anybody's really debating that at this point, especially after you lose to Florida as LSU did. But I just think that, the over-under is only 46 points here. I mean, people are expecting this not to be an offensive-heavy game, which from OU's perspective makes sense. But the way Alabama's been running the football and doing things to teams that have just been like, whoa, this is ugly, it looks like right now people think they're going to keep this thing in control, which means that maybe, just maybe in the fourth quarter, you're looking at a one-possession game before Alabama decides to separate themselves. Is this something that people are just trying to create this narrative because it's a night game and we just need something to watch to give hope for? Or is this one of those things where it's like, well, maybe, possibly, you could sneak up here and give Alabama a little bit of a sweat?
So I think the possibility is there, and as a fan, I'd like to see them keep it within 14. I think that would be, kind of a moral victory a little bit. It wouldn't be, I wouldn't like it, but I think that's something where I could say, okay, maybe Brent Venables is the guy still, and I can, have a little bit more faith that he could, keep, have that kind of game after that kind of loss against Missouri, and then the week off, and now we're playing against Alabama, and we have LSU next week. We're fighting for bowl eligibility, and I think if he can pull it off against Alabama and LSU, and he can pull off a 7-1 season, I'm, a lot more happy than I am right now.
I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, though, I mean, with 10 being like, yes, for sure, don't even ask me, and 1 being, are you kidding me? Where are you in the confidence scale of being able to do something like that right now?
What do you mean, go 7-5 or fire Brent?
No, just win tomorrow. I mean, just winning tomorrow.
Winning tomorrow, I'm not very confident that we're going to win. I think we could keep it within 14. So I would probably say, like, keeping it within 14, I'd say I'm like at a 7 or 8 out of 10 in terms of confidence. But winning, like a 3. Like, I don't think that's going to happen. I just don't think our offense is going to be able to match up.
Yeah, you're going to need help.
A lot of injuries. I mean, Deion Burks is out again. Like, Farouk is questionable, so maybe. But we don't have anyone really have a receiver. It's still not looking good. We have a couple of new weapons that have shown off the bench that I'm happy about, but the O line is still hurt. We have a lot of guys on the defense still hurt. I'm not happy.
Yeah, Tarquin's going to be back on the O line, so people think that might help a little bit. Farouk is going to play. They said he should be a little bit better than he was 2 weeks ago. Obviously, that time off helps, and I think that maybe he was trying to come back a little early. But there was that guess that maybe he just needed some more time. This has given him that. I have gotten word that Nick Anderson is just done. he's probably going to go somewhere else, whether it be the NFL or the portal. He has declared he is not going to come back as far as playing, even if he is good to go. So that's interesting there. But he is a three. This is his third year. He could go to the NFL. He is that good. Um, so I wouldn't be surprised if he takes that step. But it doesn't seem like he's coming back. Is the word I'm getting, which is interesting, but not shocking. I will say, and this is not public information. This is coming from me specifically. Um, I work at a hospital with PT. He was up there before the season started at my job trying to get better. He wasn't, we weren't allowed to tell anybody, but he was up there trying to PT and remedy his injury, and it doesn't look like it worked out in time for him. They said he was very frustrated with not only the training staff at OU, but with some of the PT people where I work. So I mean, it seems like maybe his body was not allowing him to heal enough to where he felt comfortable playing this year as far as football. But as far as being ready for the draft and ready for NFL, it looks like he knows for sure he'll be ready for that.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be NFL. I don't think he's going to transfer to another program. I think he's probably going to try to go to the NFL, and if he doesn't get drafted, I feel like he might, just enter the portal and go somewhere else. But I don't know. Maybe he'll stick around OU. I think he really loves OU. I mean, his brother, is an OU player. He, caught the winning touchdown in a Red River game. I mean, this is, a guy that's an basically an Oklahoma legend at this point. Even though it's really only one game that we all remember him for. Um, I think he, has a chance of coming back if, he doesn't get drafted. But I think he's declaring.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if you are correct about that. But that just doesn't, obviously doesn't help the chances of this team beating either of these next two teams. It definitely, but it allows, like you said, some of these young guys that have looked promising to kind of step up and take more of a solid role here and know that they're not in danger of losing their opportunities on the field, which can lead to some confidence, which is always good for young guys. You want to have them be confident when they step on the field, knowing that their position is not in danger. So I think that kind of helps as far as some of those guys lower on the wide receiver depth chart, being able to be like, yeah, like I'm still gonna get my snaps, like I'm still like this is where I'm at, and heading into next season they'll know exactly where they're at as well. So just a little something to think about as we head into another topic here for you, Zach, to kind of break down here. It's Thunder time, baby. I'll set you up with this. We got our first look at Isaiah Hartenstein in a Thunder uniform, and boy, did it look pretty good. What are your thoughts about the Thunder right now? And as of right now, record wise, still very good. Go ahead and kind of keep us updated on what's going on in OKC, baby.
Yeah, like you said, Isaiah Hartenstein, made his debut finally in a Thunder uniform. He put up, I think, 13 points, 14 rebounds. I think he had 4 blocks. This guy, he's a defensive monster. He's really going to help out our defense. I think you're going to see our defensive rating shoot up. We're going to go back to being the number 1 defense in the NBA. That we kind of lost when Chet went down. I think that he's, proven to be a good replacement. I think this is scary for the league when they realize that Chet is going to be coming back before the playoffs end up happening. So I think the Thunder are still protected from, losing that number 1 seed. I think that they can still maintain that even without Chet in the lineup. Not to mention the fact that Jalen Williams has been playing at an all-star level as of late. He is routinely putting up 30 burgers whenever he needs to. In the case where when SGA needs someone else to take off a little bit of that scoring load. So I mean, what a couple of games it's been for Jalen Williams. Not to mention the fact that he was playing center for a minute. Really impressed. I've been really impressed by him. I think he's going to get some all-star votes, if not an all-star debut, which would be really, really good. And I think that opportunity kind of opened up for him solely because Chet went down. We were looking at Chet. We were looking at a Chet All-Star season dead in the face, a Chet Defensive Player of the Year season dead in the face before he went down, and I think Jalen Williams has really picked it up since then. And this Thunder team is still looking as scary as ever. Caruso and Hardenstein on the court together is one of the best defenses I've ever seen in my life. So when you're, I know it was against Portland. Portland's not good. And we had a rough couple of games before that. But hey, when we have a center this team is great.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good way of putting it. Like you said, Chet will be back before the playoffs for sure. We don't know if it'll be right before the playoffs. They're still eyeballing kind of March, early March, mid March here, late February if you're lucky. But I wouldn't rush him back. I feel like if you have Hartenstein, you still have a team that will put up a fantastic record and not miss the playoffs. I mean, you have the fourth best record in the league right now. And that's, with picking up wins without a center and J-Dub playing with better stats than some centers. I mean, it was just an amazing performance from him, and they've still gone games without Hardenstein after his appearance. He's still kind of here and there, not solidified in the lineup just yet. But we're getting extremely close, and I think here over the next week or so, we'll see him finally be back to starting for this Thunder team.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Not to mention the fact this bench has been great.
Oh,
the bench has been great.
Oh, yeah. I mean, now here, I will point out this, speaking of the bench. Shooting slump for Case and Wallace, big deal, not big deal?
Not really a big deal. I mean, I think it's going to even out. There's always variance. Variance is one of the biggest things. I mean, look what happened with Caruso, right? He started the season really poor offensively, and then he dropped 17. He does. Swings happen. Streaks happen. I think the shooting streak. I think a lot of the bench players have been shooting a little bit more poorly. But I think they make up for it on defense, and I think their shot variance is going to get better on in later games. I mean, it's the defense of this team that's really the strong suit. It's really not. We don't have to shoot well, and that's the best part. We don't have to get a lot of free throws. And one thing I do want to point out is that the Thunder are currently on pace to have the 7th worst free throw attempts in league history. I mean, we're talking about not getting calls at all. It's terrible. This team is not getting any free throws, and we're still winning games. And I think it's making people mad, but you can't argue with the fact that they had 7 free throws attempts against Portland when Portland had like 20. I mean, it's just not happening, especially when you consider the fact that we played so close to the rim in so many occasions, especially with SGA, with the amount of drives that he's taking per game and getting, shooting at such a high rate at the rim. He's getting fouled a lot more than they're calling, and the whistle is starting to lose. We're starting to lose the whistle that we had last season. I think it could be damaging going into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's definitely something to keep an eye out for. We'll see if anything changes. But like you said, right now we're only 16 games in, lots of basketball to play. So a lot of these things will change as the season progresses. But as right now, that's what we think. And now it's time for one of my favorite segments. Cue the NFL music, baby. It's Big Deal, No Big Deal, NFL edition, baby. As we are getting things kicked off here. Let's start off with this game last Thursday. The Eagles survive the Commanders 26-18. Now, this game wasn't really that close. It was 26-10 with under 2 minutes to go, and the Commanders scored and got the 2-point conversion. Couldn't get the onside kick, and it was GG's good night. Big deal, not big deal for the Eagles getting the win.
I think it was kind of a big deal for their fourth quarter resilience, scoring 20 points in the fourth quarter. I mean, this was a 10-6 game in the favor of Washington going into the fourth quarter. So kudos to the Eagles for being able to get it done. Jalen Hurts for being able to get it done, and Saquon Barkley for being just the go-to guy now for the Eagles. Not to mention the fact that they have 2 of the best receivers in the league, at the wideout positions. So this team is really built for success. They have an amazing defense. You have Blankenship. You have DeGene. I mean, you got these white boys are playing crazy defense. In the secondary, it's crazy. So I'm a big fan. I'm not a big fan. I hate the Eagles, but I'm a big fan of what they got right now, and I think that this is a team that can actually make a lot of noise when it's playoff time.
No, I just thought you were bailing and getting a new team already. I was like, I'm with you. I mean, I hear you.
No, I won't ever bail, but I kind of want the Cowboys to lose. I'm rooting against them actively.
All right, well, that's fair. Rams get the win over the Patriots 28-22. Drake May had a chance to lead us down the field for a win, and right over the middle throws a pick, and we lose again. Big deal, no big deal.
No big deal. Rookie moment happens. Rams should have won this game.
Yeah, It should have been a Rams win, and it was. So good for LA there. Seahawks. Are we allowed to say upsetting the 49ers 20-17 here? Big deal, no big deal. I mean, what was up with this?
I think the 49ers just aren't looking as hot as they have been in the last couple of years. Injuries age is starting to catch up with them, first of all, but not to mention injuries. I mean, we're talking about Christian McCaffrey not really doing as much as he normally could do in football games. Not to mention the fact Brock Purdy got hurt. I mean, this team is not that good. So I don't know if it's an upset. These teams are kind of evenly matched in my opinion, but it does mean a lot for the division and the 49ers chances of making the playoffs, because now we're looking at more than likely a Cardinals or a Seahawks appearance when it comes to making the playoffs.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say big deal. I'm with you there. Packers beat the Bears 20-19. Caleb Williams goes down the field, sets up the field goal for Carlos Santos, and it's blocked, baby. So back-to-back weeks, the team loses on a blocked kick. Big deal, no big deal for the Packers dub.
I mean, obviously a big deal when it comes to that last play. A blocked kick, to win the game is crazy, and I think that's just insane bad luck when it comes to Chicago playing Green Bay. For you to miss that, oh God, that's a toughie.
Yeah, tough pill to swallow there. Here's one that I thoroughly enjoyed watching because I didn't have to watch the whole thing. Lions get the win over the Jags 52-6. The big story here is Dan Campbell was leaving his starters in almost the whole game. He was like, we're up 40. I'm still keeping Jared Goff in here, baby. We're racking up points. Big deal, no big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. I mean, hey, they rack up points all the time. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of disrespectful, honestly, but it's fine. I love it. But this Lions team is really fun. I'm obviously a huge fan. I think everyone is. It was funny because, when you're watching Red Zone, they just keep cutting to the Lions game, being like, yeah, we have another Lions touchdown. Just putting it on the Jaguars.
Yeah, starters are still in.
Insane. Yeah, it was crazy. Fun game for the Lions. Jared Goff is dare I say Jared Goff top 5. I know he threw 5 picks last week. Listen, I know he threw 5 picks last week. I'm not blind, but
it's fine.
But I think he's in a system defensively where he can throw 5 picks and not worry about it that much.
I mean, yeah, they won that game, so you're right.
Yeah, they won that game. So Jared Goff is that guy.
Yeah, he might be that guy. Giving Sammy Darnold a run for NFL MVP, baby.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of Sammy Darnold, they get the win over the Titans 23-13. Big deal, not big deal.
Not really big deal. I mean, this is a snooze fest.
Dolphins beat the Raiders 34-19. Big deal, not big deal.
Yeah, not really a big deal. I think Tua looks a lot better than he had, considering he has CTE.
Saints get the win over the Browns 35-14 behind Taysom Hill's 3 rushing touchdowns. Big deal, not big deal.
Big deal for Taysom Hill. Talk about crazy game. 7 carries, 138 yards, 3 touchdowns. What are we doing in New Orleans? What are we doing? That was crazy.
It was absolutely. Colts get the win over the Jets 28-27. Anthony Richardson's back from being tired. He's not tired anymore. Runs it in the corner of the end zone. And Aaron Rodgers is just, I don't know. I don't think is he just not good anymore? Like, is Aaron Rodgers washed? Because the Jets stink, dog, and he's not looking good.
Yeah. I think Aaron Rodgers is done. He's washed. I think he's probably going to retire. I hope he knows that he's washed because he looks absolutely shit. I think this is kind of a big deal game based on Anthony Richardson kind of having a little bit of a coming out party. He was like, okay, listen, yeah, no, I made a mistake. I said I was tired, whatever. Comes out, he gets that late touchdown, wins the game. Hey, maybe he is the future.
Yeah,
maybe the future isn't Joe Flacco.
Maybe not, unfortunately for me. A big Flacco guy. Ravens lose to the Steelers 18-16. Big deal, not big deal. I mean, this was kind of a shock to me. The Steelers continue to just do things.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a big deal. I think it's a big deal for, this defense can withstand, pressure, and I think that they're doing this weird thing with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields where they're throwing Justin Fields on the field a lot, and I like it, and I think that's an interesting move by Tomlin to have that happening. And I think it's it's working. So yeah, big deal. I mean, you're talking about a team that's 8-2, 4-1, 4-1 at home. I mean, shit. Why not the Steelers?
Yeah, it's becoming a little bit too much of an eyebrow raiser for some Pittsburgh fans to believe it, and I'm with them. I'm not sitting here going, this is going to be for sure one of the top teams in the NFL. But I mean, they shut down this Ravens offense, and I mean that's saying something. Who couldn't shut down an offense were the Atlanta Falcons. Bo Nix, my man, looked like he was Offensive Rookie of the Year this game, which I don't think he's going to get it. I think it's probably still going to go to Daniels. But 38-6, 4 touchdowns, 300 yards. First rookie this year to throw for 300 yards. I don't think Daniels has done that yet. I think that's what I heard. So, what was your takeaway from this? Big deal, no big deal for the Broncos at home?
Big deal. I mean, they've definitely found their quarterback of the future, Bo Nix. I mean, this guy can sling it, and I think we knew that coming in based on his long career in college. But whew, I wouldn't be so sure about that Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think that this guy could still get it based on if he keeps winning games and throwing for high yardage like this. I mean, shit, he might win me my fantasy league. So. I'm all in on Bo Nix right now. I think this guy is really, really good. He's someone that is, 28 of 33, 307, 4 tutties.
It's efficient.
5 incompletion.
It's efficient.
Yeah, Jesus. I mean, this guy is a pro. I mean, he's 26, 27. I mean, shit.
He should be. He should be. Pro
like,
5 years
ago. He should be doing.
Yeah.
I mean, this is basically he's like Joe Burrow's age. So.
I mean, so I think it's.
He faced off against Justin Herbert in college. Like, he's up there in age. Like, in this, he's proven it. I mean, he's mature. He should have come to the league 3 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, probably true. Here's one for you. The Bills give Kansas City their first loss of the year at home, 30-21, behind Josh Allen's game-winning touchdown run on 4th and 2, that I thought was just absolutely terrifying if you're a Bills fan. But hey, a win's a win. Big deal, no big deal?
Honestly, not really a big deal. I thought that the Bills were just proving that they were the better team here. And I think that they're proving that. I think the Bills have a really legitimate chance of making the Super Bowl this year because they have proven that even without having some of the star power that they had last season with Stephon Diggs, I mean, this is a good team. It's a really good team. I think Josh Allen is kind of starting to make that leap where he might be better than Patrick Mahomes because Patrick Mahomes has not looked as good this season as advertised. So. I think it's kind of a big deal for the Bills. Kind of a good morale game for Josh Allen and Buffalo.
Yeah, I think you're right. I guess it's more of just we can beat this team if we play well enough type moment for the Bills because, like you said, I think they are on paper as far as numbers and everything go the better team than the Chiefs this season as far as what the production has been offensively. So I was kind of surprised at the result because I just figured somehow Buffalo was going to find a way to lose this, and I thought that was going to be that play was the 4th and 2. Like, if Josh Allen doesn't get this, this is a 2-point game. Like, they could just go down, kick a field goal, and win this thing. And we'd be talking about why didn't you send Tyler Bass out there to miss another field goal? But I don't know if it'll mean anything come postseason because we know what the Bills tend to do in the postseason. But like you said, great moral victory for the Bills, and for the Chiefs, maybe it's a good thing you're not perfect anymore. Maybe that'll ease some of this pressure that you seem to be putting on yourselves to where your offense just seems almost inept. Where is the Kelsey Mahomes connection? It's been almost absent some games. He's gone whole entire halves without even getting targeted. So interesting development there for Kansas City. Could Dynasty be over? Is it Jover?
I don't think so. I think they might just take a little break. I think we're going to see kind of a gap in Super Bowls for Patrick Mahomes. Eventually, he'll get some more weapons, but yeah, I think right now it's looking like Travis Kelce probably going to retire after this season. You're looking at some of the big names being gone, but I think they're set up for long-term success. You talked about a young offensive line. They have Creed Humphrey there at center. I think he's one of the best centers in the NFL. And you got Patrick Mahomes on his long-term deal. I think we're going to see a couple probably 3-4 years from now this Chiefs team, and they're going to be consistently good. I'm not going to say that they're going to be consistently good, but in terms of Super Bowls, I think that this team is probably set up in like 3 or 4 years to start winning more. I think we're going to see a little break for a minute because I just don't think that they're set up for success over the next couple of years.
Yeah,
I think we're starting to see it this season. I know they started undefeated, but it was fucking devil magic that made that happen because they should not have started the season 9-0.
Yeah, no, I think everybody kind of sees the luck that they were having to get to where they were. But speaking of luck running out, the Bengals, they lose to the Chargers 34-27. They blow a 21-point lead. J.K. Dobbins runs it in for the game-winning touchdown for the Chargers. Burrow again throws it for 50 times and 356 yards, 3 touchdowns. A stat line that would be like, oh, they're winning the football game. Nope. How bad is this defense for the Bengals, or is it just bad timing that the offense just can't seem to get things moving? How do you lose a 21-point lead to a Chargers team that me and you both kind of think is still just slightly above average?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's more of the offense than anything. This offense just can't get it going. A rather inefficient game from Joe Burrow, really looking back at it. And it's just, they're not really performing. It's an ugly Cincinnati team right now, and they still have all offensive line issues. It's just not working out very well in their favor. But this game really isn't that big of a deal to me. I think that the Chargers have the better team. I think that Harbaugh has coached a better defense. I think that Justin Herbert that so far has been a better quarterback this season, despite Joe Burrow's having good games early on. It's just he doesn't have the protection, and he doesn't have really a lot of weapons anymore. Joe Mixon's gone. It's just not really working as much, without some of the key names that they've had.
Yeah, no, I think you broke it. You broke that down pretty eloquently there. That's pretty good. Moving on to Monday Night Football. Gotta love you some Monday Night Football, baby. Texans beat the Cowboys 34-10. Joe Mixon, 20 carries, 109 yards, and 3 touchdowns, all I think within the 15-yard line. CD Lamb, 8 catches for 93 yards. Cooper Rush throws for 354 yards. They also threw it 55 times and threw a couple picks. No surprise here in the result per se, but it was 17-10 at halftime. Were you feeling okay at that point?
No, I knew we were going to lose big. All I could think about was how, if we would just paid Derrick Henry, what might be different. But no, that didn't happen. Cooper Rush threw the ball 55 times. What are we doing? 5th straight loss. No other way to put it. I don't even like the Cowboys. I'm still a fan, but I don't even like them. I want them to lose. I was actively rooting for the Texans. I needed Nico Collins, catches. I needed something good from him. He gave me a couple. So yeah, I was happy.
Yeah, that's.
I really didn't care. Really, it was blissful. I want them to lose. I hope that they end the season with 3 wins.
Oh, there you go. There's your NFL big deal, no big deal.
And all I'm saying is I am tracking the life expectancy of men in the United States, and I'm tracking Jerry Jones' age at the same time. And listen, we're overdue.
Yeah, he's outstayed his welcome.
All I'm saying, it could happen any minute.
It's true. It's true.
It can happen any minute, and maybe it gets better. And I know it's hereditary. I know it's going to pass down. I don't know. Maybe the IQ just improves after generation after generation. Maybe we'll start getting maybe we'll get to a conference championship under a Stephen Jones, dictatorship that is the Cowboys ownership. And then maybe when we get to the grandson, maybe he can even get us to, maybe even winning a conference championship. I don't think so though. And when I'm 60, maybe we'll even get to a Super Bowl. I don't know.
Yeah, trajectory not looking good as far as the lineage of possible owners and whatnot. And that leads us to my favorite segment. It's yours too. It's the St0ner Sports Book, baby. We're here giving you Week 13 action, baby. Look, Zach's got 10 cents to play with. He went 1-1. We'll give him that. Look, Texas didn't hold their end of the bargain. Who would have known that a Texas team would have screwed Zach in the pooch? I mean, that's you should have just known better. Look, man, where are you putting your 10 cents this week? I mean, where's the money at? Tell me.
Fuck. Oh God. All right. I'm thinking. Well, this one's tough. This one's a toughie. Because I gotta put it all on one. I'm gonna go Arizona State to beat BYU straight up.
Arizona.
No, I'm gonna say Arizona State's not just gonna beat them straight up. I'm gonna take them to cover that 3-point spread.
Okay. That's what I like. Arizona. Cover. Arizona State. Hey,
Arizona State, my apologies, yeah.
To cover the 3.5 against BYU. That'll get you a cool 19 cents. We'll bump that up to 20. You'll have 2 games next week if the Sun Devils can come through, baby. Forks up. I'm rooting for them. Forks up. Arizona State's going to be bringing Zach home the victory. Now on to the real winner of last weekend. Hey, it's me. Hello, it's me. I put all of my chips on the table. I went and rolled with Kansas again for the second week in a row. I doubled down, and it didn't prove me wrong. I put 20 cents down, and I'm getting 70 back, so we've got a full slate of games, baby. We're going 11 cents a piece here. You know what? We could actually go 12 cents a piece, right? Is that work out? I've got 70 cents here.
You can go. I would just go probably 10 cents a piece and then 20 on one.
Yeah, you're probably right. Let's do that. Let's start out with the first game, and I'm gonna stick with my Kansas Jayhawks here, but instead of picking the 2.5, I'm just gonna pick them to win straight up. We're picking Kansas over Colorado straight up, 10 cents. We're rolling with the Jayhawks to continue to play spoiler here at the end of the year. I like it. They're at home. I don't like Colorado traveling on the road to a place that's going to be rockin' sockin' robots. Give me the Lawrence Jaybirds. Double my money with the 114 money line, plus 114 money line for the Jayhawks. Game number 2. I'm rolling with underdogs here, and I'm rolling big here because look, this team burned me early in the season, and I'm really thinking that they're not going to do it to me again. Give me UMass plus 42 against Georgia. I just don't think they're going to pile it on that bad. They might lose by 35, but let's just try to keep it there. I'm UMass plus the 42 to double up the money there at minus 110. Third game, we're rapid fire. We're going with, and this is I was on the fence about this, but I think I'm a lot more confident now. Give me Michigan minus 10.5 against Northwestern. Northwestern's awful. Give me Michigan to take care of business at home against the Wildcats to once again double the money. So 10 for 20. We're going big here with the Michigan minus 10.5. Moving on to game number 4 for me. Game number 4, everybody. This one you're probably going to not like what I'm going to say here, but I like this spot for them. I think it's a good spot. Give me Notre Dame minus the 14 against Army. I'm sorry, Army fans. I just don't think it's going to happen.
I love that pick. I love that pick.
And so
I think it's a good pick.
Yeah, give me the Golden Domers minus 14 to once again double the money at minus 112. 10 for 18. You bump those up to 20. Yada yada. Game number 5. Game number 5, baby. Where am I putting my money here? I'll tell you where I'm putting it. I'm putting it on the Vanderbilt Commodores. Give me Vanderbilt on the road to win against LSU straight up. Give me the Commodores to make Brian Kelly sweat his job, even though he would be getting paid $60 million. I wouldn't feel bad for him at all. I don't think he's going to lose his job, even if he loses the last 2 of his games, but it won't make the Bayou Bengal fans happy. Give me the Commodores to continue to shock some teams. I like him in this spot. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I think it's a good spot for him right now, and I think that you're right because this LSU team has just continued to drag, and I think that this Vandy team is in the position to kind of play spoiler. They've done it against teams in the past this season. I mean, we're talking about Alabama. We're talking about almost beating Texas. So I think that this, Vandy team really has the possibility of not just beat LSU. I think they could beat LSU big. In fact, I would put money on them beating LSU big.
Yeah, it's the wheels are coming off, and I'm sensing it. You know what I'm also sensing? I'm sensing the wheels coming off for a team that burned Zach last week. I'm gonna come for their heads. Give me Kentucky plus 20. I like them keeping this within 17. I think last week kind of proved that Texas, if you play good defense, is gonna not put up a ton of points. And if Kentucky's got one thing, it's a decent defense. It's not the greatest defense, but it's good enough. I think it's better than Arkansas's defense. And if you're struggling against the Pigs on the road, having Kentucky at home is weird. It's not normal. And I'm putting my last 20 on that. I think that Kentucky is good enough to keep this within a respectable margin.
Yeah, I think so too. Texas is the type of team to lose to Kentucky here. Just late in the season. So if you're not scared, you put Kentucky straight up.
Yeah, no, that's it's a possibility. I just don't know if Texas is going to let them do that. But I mean, look, they played Georgia really tough, so they play good teams, pretty well. Parlay right now looks like 70 cents to win you $66. I mean, I'm telling you, this is Vegas would hate me if this were to hit and slap like like it should. But what do you? Any final thoughts before we get out of here for the weekend here? Anything to leave us with as we close the window here at the sports book?
No, I mean Alabama's going to kick our ass. Tomorrow it's going to be, beautiful to watch. Night game for everyone to see. So yeah, going into this weekend, knowing we're going to lose.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, look, my Ducks are gonna have to just continue to work this week. They have to work this week. We've got a big game coming up. We got to finish the season strong. So just continue to win, baby. Just win, baby, and we'll let care of the rest. Go Hoosiers! Go Hoosiers! I'm rooting. I wasn't confident enough to put any money on it, but I'm rooting. Go Hoosiers! And for all of you back home, enjoy your weekend. Good night, Canada.